All right, welcome Hard Knocks, KK the Destroyer here, bringing you your Week 10 updates. And with me, I got Mikey, coach of the coach of the Colts,
What's up?
and then as well as Penalty, coach of the Bucks.
Yo,
So, guys, Week 10, we're doing great with the podcast so far. This is 3 weeks straight for us, so I'm pretty happy about that. Figured this time around we'd go ahead and jump right into the power rankings. Penalty, I always feel bad. It feels like you got to wait the whole hour before you get to drop your
give the
knowledge on people.
what they want.
That's right. Some people. So we'll go ahead and start with your power rankings. Let's kick it off.
Okay, that sounds good. Moved it. It was 5 the first time, 8, and now 10. I feel like the more we play, the better understanding of the league you get. And then always when I go over it, you notice trends or kind of interesting things. Definitely when comparing conferences, the NFC is extremely top heavy. So I took that in consideration when I was making the list. So I'll just start with the teams hovering near the top 10, like always. The ones I do is, of course, Johnny. You know, I want to put him in the top 10 so badly, but he's just on the brim. I got the Jets at 5 and 4, and I got the Vikings too at 6 and 3. But again, that just NFC with their winning records versus losing records is kind of hurting them. And
Yeah, I
then
can see
the
that
one
because there's a lot of cannibalism going on in the NFC. You can see there's a couple 9-win teams, a couple 8-win teams, and then a lot of 5-win teams. So I think
Right.
that goes to what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah, so I mean, I have the NFC. So here are the amount of wins over winning teams with the teams that didn't make the top 10 in the NFC. The 49ers, 0 wins over teams with winning records. The
Wow.
Bears, 0 wins with teams over winning
whoa,
records.
whoa, we just play who's in front of us, okay? That's all we do.
Except the teams with winning records. That's it.
Yeah, except for them. We just don't show up.
And then we have the Vikings with one win over a team with a winning record, but it was the Bears.
Right.
And then we have the Falcons, again, Johnny, one win over a team with a winning record. It was the Vikings who beat the Bears. So it's really difficult to decide. So the last team I have hovering in the top 10, and I wanted to do that because it was back and forth between them and the 10th spot, but it's the Bengals hovering close to the top 10, and the only reason they're not in the top 10 is because the Jags beat them. So I have the Jags at number 10.
Whoa.
Wow, Jags
Yeah.
rolling.
Jags rolling at 5 and
Jags
4.
rolling. I mean, he's doing good. Like his winning streak got ended, but he is. If you look, and that's the thing about these power rankings, right? That's what I said. It's who is the best right now, and it's the best user combined with how good your team is. And I mean, he's rocking it right now.
Absolutely.
His only loss that broke the streak is Manny with the Texans, who is undefeated. So
Right.
I definitely have the Jags at 10. At 9, I have the Browns with Cy.
Oh, Coach Cy.
Yeah, no, he's rocking in the top 10. He's just doing work. And like I said last time, the way he plays, he can lose to anybody, but he can beat anybody in the league. So, and he has a 5 and 3 record, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, you were
Yeah,
right.
it's
He's
5
5 and 3.
Yeah, and he beat the Broncos, who are tough out, like they showed against the Packers.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Browns at number 9, and then 8. I know he's going to be stoked. I got the Patriots.
Jabbar.
Jabbar. He has a 5-game winning streak. Again, these power rankings are current, and he's rocking Stidham, right? That's the
Yeah,
QB?
yep, Stidham, yeah.
He's got the cannon, and he barely beat the Ravens with that comeback, but other than that game, he's not just winning by a little bit. He destroyed Cy. He destroyed his division rival with the Jets. So he's cruising right now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I mean, the dude rattled off 5 straight wins, so he's obviously doing something right.
Yeah. No, and if that train doesn't slow down, he may be meeting Manny with the Texans in the AFC Championship.
You know, how
So I'm just
disappointed is he going to be, though, to start out 0-4, rattle off 5, and maybe still miss playoffs? It's a possibility.
Yeah. Now, he
Yeah.
would show that every game matters. That's what that would
Oh,
show.
yeah, absolutely.
So, yep, so Patriots at 8, and then 7, again, he's, in the top 10 is Danny with the Titans.
Yeah.
His only losses right now are the Browns, top 10 team, the Bucks, who are undefeated, and the Eagles with Jern, who are destroying people.
Right.
Those are his only losses.
Yeah.
So, he's winning the games he's supposed to win, and he's put himself in a really good position, and he's building that team really well. I mean, you added Donald, who I think personally is the best defensive player in the game.
Collusion.
And he has him on his team. Yeah. No, what's going on in that household?
Straight,
huh?
yeah,
What's going
straight collusion right up in there. Father-son trade, like what?
Yeah, putting all their chips into one team. That's what they're doing.
Yep, taking turns each week. Oh, you can play with the Titans this week. I'll play with your team.
Oh, man. And then going to number 6, he's, again, another player's he's doing what he's supposed to do, winning the games he's supposed to, is the Bills. Abomish 39.
Yep.
He's got some really good wins, and that division is pretty tough with how good the Jets and the Patriots are.
Yeah,
but he's
for
putting
sure.
himself in a position to win that division. So I think that's key.
Absolutely.
Let's see, and his one of his losses was against Jern, who's really good, and then a 1-point loss against the Jets. So it's not like he's, losing to, random people. Like it's good people.
Yeah, he's got quality losses, and that's the key.
Right. Yeah. And so the top 5 going, and again, like it feels weird putting him here, but I have the Eagles and Jern at 5. But
At
he's
5.
doing so good, it feels weird to put him at 5. But his only loss was to the Packers, and other than that, I mean, good luck touching him. Good luck getting within 2 possessions.
Oh yeah,
of him.
man.
So he
is tough out,
cruising.
man. I played him, and I felt like I played him pretty solid early, but he makes those adjustments in the second half, and he'll break a run here or there. Like, I had Miles Sanders on lockdown for the majority of the game, but something happens, and he just pops one, and there's just not a lot you can do to it, and he beat me 27-3. So like, he's just good. He's been really good and really consistent.
Right, and there's there's people who know how to build a good team, and there's people who know how to play the game. Like, I feel like me and Slick, we kind of like, we know how to play the game, but we aren't that good at building teams. And then, I'm not gonna say they're not good, but Jules knows how to make a really good team. But the gameplay, sometimes Jern is the combination of both.
Yeah,
He
Jern's
knows
posting
the game, he
posting
knows how to
an
play the
eagle
game.
in his chat.
And Jern knows how to build a team. He's got both.
Yeah.
So again, I feel bad putting him at 5, but I got a ton of respect for how good he is. And then going to 4 is the guy who beat him with the Packers with Johnny Sins. He has that win over the Eagles, and his only loss is to the Broncos, who have a losing record. And I remember that game, or hearing about that game, that he just played poorly. And
yeah,
we all
I
had
actually
that game.
commentated that game, and the Broncos just played him really well and adjusted well to what he was doing, and shut him down. I think he beat him like pretty solidly.
Yeah, no, I think he did.
I think he beat him like 27-3 or something.
But I remember looking at the rankings, and the Broncos have a positive point differential. So even though he's got a losing record,
It was
like, I don't know-
26-14.
26, yeah. Even though he's got a
So-
losing record, he's got a better point differential. Positive
does,
one.
yeah.
How does that make
So-
any sense?
I have no idea. But anyway, I think he just played a bad game, and he could easily be undefeated right now. So, Johnny Sins with the Packers at number 4. At 3, again, this list is not who's the best user in the league, it's how good you are at that team. And at 3, I got the Seahawks with Slick. And so he said he made an adjustment with that O-line, but that O-line is awful. I mean, straight awful. And I don't care how good route combos you have, how skilled you are. If you get shedded instantly and you got a defender in the backfield sacking you, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose. And so he said he made an adjustment, so I popped him back up to number 3. I actually originally had him behind Jern. But with the Niners, you can see the Niners have D Ford, who leads the league in sacks, and he kind of shut down that pass rush. So I believe he did make an adjustment. So that's why I have Slick at number 3. And his only loss, besides to the Bucks, was a forced loss to Johnny. So again, he could easily be a one-loss team. 2-1. I mean, you can't just remove the undefeated out of the top 2, you know. So I got me with the Bucks.
And that's just you being modest right now.
That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm ahead of Slick because I beat him head-to-head, so I think it's fair to put number 2. I'm not going to spend so much time on me. At number 1, of course, I got the Texans and Manny. I mean, I don't know what he's doing with that defense, but I had to bust out my calculator, all right? He's giving up less than 6 points a game.
Jesus.
I mean, my man can kick 2 field goals, or he can score a touchdown, miss the extra point, and beat you. That's how good he is doing. I mean, and I've played him before. I think he is incredible. I think he's better than me. I think he is the best user in the league. So
wow. I think I would say you're selling yourself short. You've won 4 consecutive Super Bowls in the original Hard Knocks this year. So just don't pretend like you're not trying to draw a target on your back. Like that's why you put him on the top.
That's what I was about to say.
I try and look at things. I try and look at things fair. I mean, he's beaten me 3 times this year. I've beaten him 2. I think he is really good. And
how many Super Bowls has he got in Hard Knocks?
Yeah, I mean, when I go to the playoffs, you know, we show up. That's what happens. All right, undefeated in
You're
Super
just
Bowl.
bored in the regular season. You're like, it's not a big deal. It's not a real game.
Honestly, I think when he's on and he's making reads, he will make the correct read 100% of the time. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I will be shocked if he's not in the Super Bowl.
I would assume he's the guy to beat in the AFC. So, without a doubt.
So,
it's a great list. I think you're right on pretty much everybody. I mean, it's a tough list to make, especially with some of these win-loss. The win-losses out there. So I think you pretty much nailed it there. I'm not going to disagree. Like you said, I think the Eagles. What do you have them at?
So I had the Eagles at 5.
And then you had the Packers at
4.
4. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the only one I disagree with. And even though the Eagles in chat, Jernigan's saying Packers whooped his ass. So I just feel like I played the Packers once, and I had him in a hole early, and obviously I'm not doing that good. I feel like had I not just blown a lead, I would have taken that game. But he adjusted and came back, and I think he held me scoreless in the second half. So he's clearly good, but I feel like Jernigan is just that much better. But still, I agree with your list for the most part. So nicely done.
Yeah, no, and it's tough with comparing AFC and NFC. It's kind of, you can't just go off of records, and you got to kind of go farther into specific games against people, and but that's so. And if you want to get in the top 10, beat those people.
Yeah, the only thing I would have had Jern ahead of Slick, just because his loss, Jern's loss was to the Packers, while Slick lost to Johnny, who I would say kind of fell off, right?
Yeah, I mean, he took most of the season off, so he hasn't really been in the game. And for him to come in and beat him is kind of a mark on his record, I would say.
Yeah, it's almost like that's a bigger stain in Slick's resume than I would say Jern's.
For sure.
But I mean, it's a good list.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing, Penalty, you brought up, you wanted to go ahead and create a new channel in the chat.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it'd be cool to introduce a new feature for Hard Knocks strategy. I know I've seen in chat like, hey, this person only runs outside zone. It's cheesy, which, yeah, if you run stretch all game, it's cheesy. But if you ask, how do I stop stretch, maybe we can give you some tips on how to stop stretch, you'll be able to stop that. Or, how do I beat cover 3? What's the difference between a cloud flat and a soft squat? What does the gift draft ability do? Or for the people who are experts in CFM, how do I manage my cap space? It'd be nice to have a channel where it's like specifically helped for that. And then you don't put the memes in there, you don't do the trash talk, it's purely strategy, and then you can kind of reference it later on maybe to help out.
No, I think that's a great idea. Actually, I'd considered doing something like that, but I just wasn't sure how it might be received, specifically to play like winning players. You know, everybody's trying to maintain their edge over everybody else in the league, and so, you know, with some players coming out who like you, for example, who's always making playoffs, always making a Super Bowl run, it's like it's not as big of a deal for you to be like, yeah, you want to know how to stop stretch? Here's what you do. But the guys that are winning and, you know, making playoffs and using stretch, and then to give that information out to maybe players that don't know, it might beat them down a little bit. So I wondered if it would be received poorly, but I think it's still a good idea no matter what, because not everybody has.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you don't want to give, if you have something secret that you're doing and you don't want to let out that information, you don't need to give it. But I think my goal for the league would be that everybody is so good and so competitive that when the preseason you're like, hey, who's going to win this division? You know, everybody looks at each other and says, I don't know who's going to win, because they're all so good. And that would be my overall goal for the league. So
yeah, I mean, that's absolutely. I'm glad our visions are aligned, because that's what I would like to see too. Is, you know, more parity in the league, so every year it's not like, oh, so-and-so is going to win this division, and it's a lock.
Right.
Like, put it down.
Right. And so, so I hope that's going to be a new channel. If you got questions, just post them there, and I'll try to get on there as quick as possible. Hopefully, guys like Jern and Manny and Slick, you know, I'll post in there too.
Yeah, after this chat, I'll go ahead or after this podcast, I'll create the chat and, you know, make sure we get it going, because I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it.
So the next thing, briefly, I wanted to bring up was penalties once again. I thought it would be good to just continue to revisit it each time we do this podcast and kind of take a look. And there's some alarming stats in there. So right off the top of my head, I'll try to get there on the game so people can kind of follow along. The Cardinals have 47 total penalties. They are the most penalized team in the league. Even though they're not giving up, it was by a mile when I wrote this. 28 was the next closest. They're not really giving up that many yards because of it, as I look at it now. But I mean, that's crazy. So they're getting nearly 5 per game, and I would assume it's got to be a result of some bad O-line that they have. I haven't looked at their O-line, but I assume they're bad.
I don't know if Kyler's jacking up the snap count or whatever, but he's getting like 5-6 false starts a game. I think that's what's causing it.
So UGW needs to like hold off on that RB and maybe just snap the ball every once in a while right away.
And also, like, tell us in the chat, like, what's going on, like, you know, so we're aware. Or if
right,
it's just,
I'll tag him now, see if he shows up.
Yeah.
So I assume that's part of it. So bad O-line, lowly rated guys got to contribute. But I think some of it has to fall on pocket movement. And what I see in some of the games that I've watched is when people do tend to roll out of the pocket, and specifically when they're moving laterally, I see a lot more holds. At least that's when I notice them. So I do wonder if it has to do with, you know, just moving laterally outside the pocket that generates more holds. So I think some of it probably comes down to the user themselves. But, you know, there's always those holds that are ridiculous, like you don't even know what happened. It's just like, oh, the game's going to give me a holding penalty and call that back.
Yeah, you throw like a 60-yard bomb touchdown, the game's like, all right, you know what, we got to bring that back. We got to keep it close. Come on, bring it back.
Bring it back. And so the next closest was 28 penalties. And that, I mean, it's just a massive disparity, like 20 different penalties more. But when you look at that 28, you're roughly looking at 3 per game since we're 10 games in. And 3 per game, like I said last week, clearly still can be game-breaking if they're really bad penalties, but 3 per game seems to be reasonable. But the average, if I scroll down here, if you look at the yellow bar on the right-hand side, if it's about the middle, you're looking at anywhere from 17 to 18 penalties, roughly 2 a game. And least penalized is the Buccaneers. So what's your secret, dude? What's going on? We're starting Hard Knock strategy right now. How do you have 6 penalties over 10 games?
So the secret is, I have no idea. I'll be dead honest. I'm just glad I'm not getting penalties. I haven't been doing anything not normal. It's not like
How fat's your wallet?
It's not like I set my line to conservative or anything like that. I think awareness helps with your O-line. I don't have anything to prove it. But my one O-lineman who causes all the penalties is the lowest awareness guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then in defense, I don't know. I honestly thought you touched a slider because I do the same thing where in the last league I tried to user pick and I'd accidentally bump a dude and then get a pass interference, and then this time I don't. So,
which is weird because the penalties here are higher than the original Hard Knocks, so you should see more penalties.
Hey, Jags in the chat said it's because you have Brady and you got the refs in
the refs in your pocket. There might
That's
be
what it is. Brady
maybe there's
has that
something
trait.
to that. You know, if you think about it, like I remember in years past, like I would notice it. I think in quarterbacks and running backs, if they had high awareness, there was kind of this theory that higher awareness quarterbacks had better blocking, and I could definitely see that being a thing. Like maybe your Tom Brady just gives them better awareness, and they're just better at not committing penalties. So there might be something to it.
I mean, I'm sure maybe on PC they've been able to kind of break down the game and what does what, and so maybe some like weight. I think there's like some weird weight differential where a running back will get a falling forward animation if they have plus 30 pounds or something like that. So maybe they'll find something with that with the quarterbacks getting better, no penalties. I don't know.
Right. But yeah, so that was my brief stint on the penalties, because I know it does come up in games and it can be game-breaking, but so far it looks to be reasonable if you're not the Cardinals. So sorry, Cardinals. And then the next segment we had was what was it now? We had another quick one, I thought, but maybe are we just moving on to the divisions? Is that right?
That'd be good.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. I felt like there was something else. Someone might have
to skip the NFC and just go straight to the AFC.
All right, so let me jump over into the standings. So we'll go ahead and start in the AFC, and we'll start with the North. We got the Bengals at 6-3, and that is Freshly Baked Buns, who was off to a rough start at 1-2, but has since turned it around. He did sweep the Ravens, but much like something that you alluded to, Penn, which was a lot of these teams don't seem to have been tested yet, because most of his wins are over teams under 500. So it's hard to gauge, and if he's beating teams that are over 500, but he's still only 6-3, I mean, how do you really measure what Baked Buns is doing? I mean, is he doing that well, or is he just in a favorable division? So he does. He still has the Browns on the schedule, I think, and it might be twice. I didn't write down whether or not it's once or twice. So that could be key, because right underneath him, we got Coach Sy at 5-3, and he's supposed to be playing the Bills tonight, which I was really looking forward to that record or that game. But it does look like the Bills got called into work, so he's going to have to get a force win for the Browns, which is going to be huge for the Browns. And I'm not sure if the Browns wound up playing, or the Bengals will wind up playing the Bills, or had, and that could be a big factor into whether or not who wins the division. But
that division's so tight too.
It's super tight.
You lose a couple games, win a couple games, all of a sudden you find yourself in first place.
Yeah, I mean, because
even you look at the lowest guy, and I mean the point differential for the Steelers is -4, and I remember he put up a fight against Flick. So that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the whole AFC is kind of like this, where who's going to come out on top.
And it can't be a comfortable spot for him to be in, like you said. I mean, he's only one game up, and right now, if the Browns get their win, they're going to be tied for the division. So it's anybody's division. And the Browns still, they have beaten the Titans, which that was a big win, and the Jets. I think, if that's correct. Is anybody near a schedule for the Browns to confirm that? I'm not sure. I was just curious.
Yeah, If they beat the if they beat
If
the Jets.
the Titans and the Jets, because I have it written that they.
Yeah, they beat both of them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, one of them was a force though. Against Titans was a force.
Is that what it was? So that was like the start of
Yeah.
the season or something.
Yeah.
So I guess we can kind of discount that win, but he did beat the Jets, who we'll get to them here briefly. And then we have my hot take Ravens at 4-5. They started out 3-0.
Proving you right.
Oh man, I am good at these hot takes. I don't know what it is. I'm scared to do a third one because I've been right both times in both leagues so far. So he started out 3-0, thought he was hot shit, and then went on a 4-game losing streak. And he lost 2 by 3 or less, which is tough. Like, to coach's credit, like a 3-point loss, that's really anybody's game. It's whoever had the ball last, basically.
And those are all winning records too. He faced the Bengals twice, which is 6-3. He faced Jabbar since Jabbar started trying, so he says, and he faced
Right.
Slick. So
Yeah, and so, I mean, that's tough. But the other half of it is he still has the Texans, the Bills, and then he has his division rivals yet to still finish. So,
and yeah,
I mean, he to really get back into playoff contention. And, you know, we'll kind of get into the wild card predictions here. And maybe he's got a shot at it, but, I mean, I think he's got a tough road to make playoffs. And I wouldn't hate it if I was right with my hot take.
Well, I think it's funny. It's like, you know, just like I say for Cy, he plays conservative so he can, you know, compete against anybody. The Ravens is on like the opposite end of the spectrum, where coach will play so reckless that he can beat anybody, but he will lose to anybody.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, just on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Absolutely. And then to round this out, we got the Steelers at 4-5, who had a rough start, coming out 1-4. They managed to rally, going 3-1 over the last 4. They're still 4-5. But once again, they have 4 division matchups coming, which, I mean, that may just be the case for the majority of teams' schedules. I'm not sure if that's what the NFL did this year, is make sure they had a lot of division games down the stretch. But it seems to be a recurring theme. So,
Right.
I mean, once again, he's in a tough spot. But, I mean, Freshly Baked could drop a few games pretty easy, and the Steelers could pick him up. And that wouldn't be a problem, and he could very well walk away with this division. So I guess I'll toss it over to Mikey and say, Mikey, who do you think is going to win this division?
I'm gonna go. Boy, that's a tough one. But right now, I'm gonna go with Bengals.
The Bengals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bengals.
All
I just
right.
think he's putting up points. He puts up a lot of points. You know, I just have a good feeling about the Bengals on here.
So, Penn, what about you?
You know what? I hate to just go with the majority, but I also think the Bengals. I think he plays really smart, and he knows what he's doing. I remember when, you know, watching one of his Twitch streams, and he was doing pass protection stuff like that. So I just got a good feeling about him, that he'll know how to use that team to get into the playoffs.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be the outlier here. I gotta try to pump up my boy Cy with the Browns. He's got a solid roster, and like you said, he can hang with anybody. So I think if he plays not necessarily conservative, but just really limits those mistakes, he could really come away with this no problem. So, and he's got that win over the Titans. Force win or not, it's still going to count if they wind up playing the same teams. And I don't know if any. We won't bother looking at whether or not the Bengals play them, but
Bengals play who?
the Titans.
Oh no, I didn't look. But what I did see is that the last 4 weeks, that's when the Bengals and Browns will play each other twice. So they play Week 14 and they play Week 17. So we're looking at a couple games of the week there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the Bengals having them on the schedule. So yeah, since they have both games, I mean, that's just going to come down to them, you know, playing those head-to-heads and seeing who walks away with it. So we'll move on to the South. We got we got Manny's AFC South, so it's pretty easy. He's 9-0. He does have 2 games on the schedule that I think are interesting. That's the Bucks in Week 16 or 15, and then the Titans in Week 17. So both those games are really interesting. I think those were the only games that I saw on the schedule that I thought would even be a test. because I don't know, this is breaking news, but Manny's pretty good at the game. So
yeah, he's all right.
He's all right.
He's all right.
Yeah, so for those that are new to the league, don't sleep on the Titans. He'll crush you. And then, of course, we got the fan favorite, Danny with the Titans 6-3. And let's see, we got the Jags coming up. It's going to be a tough game for them. And then he's got the Colts on his schedule, which I would like to think could be a spoiler for Danny. Like, Coach Mikey could definitely come into that game and just really want to dash his dreams. What say you, Mikey?
I don't know. Ownership is having a real tough struggle with the coaching staff. Ownership wants to rebuild. Coaching staff, is trying to fight for their jobs. So I don't know. We'll see what kind of Colts teams show up.
Well, and then let's see. They also have they have 15 and 17 weeks. 15 and 17. They play the Texans. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's quite right. That can't be right. I must have wrote that down wrong because I got the Texans down for 2 different games. But so once again, that game will be interesting to watch. See where Danny winds up. I think Danny's definitely in the running for a wild card.
Yeah.
But then we can jump down to the Jags, who are 5-4, 0-3 start. Mikey, you still haven't figured out what his name is, right? On the game.
On Eystein or something.
Is there like a reference we should get out of that?
I don't know. Maybe he should just jump in on chat.
Yeah,
right
I mean
now,
he's on chat.
Listening.
Like, explain it to me.
Tell us what's going on here.
Like, is there a pronunciation? Is there like an apostrophe? Like, I don't know.
Is that the name of your dog?
Right.
Like.
So 0-3 start, and then he rattled off 5 straight. So much to what I think Penn you were talking about by having him. Was he top 10?
Yeah.
I think he was 10.
He was 10?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Like I said, power rankings are what's going on right now, and he's cruising.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he beat the Bengals, too, which was, you beat a division leader. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I've written down here that he played a really good game against the Texans, and that's not easy to do. And the downside is he's got to face some real killers down the stretch. He's got to face the Titans. He's got to face the Bucks. He's got to face the Falcons, and then he's got to face the Colts, which I would think, since you guys are buddies, like that's going to be a grudge match. Is it?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So if there's a game that the Colts have circled on their schedule, it's the game against the Jags. Am I right?
There's 2 of them. This week's game right after advance. He's got it coming.
He's got it coming. So yeah, I think Jags putting on performance, but I mean he's got a tough road to hoe coming up. And then rounding out the bottom of this division, we got the Colts, Coach Mikey. And it says, so basically here, I guess what we'll go ahead and do is I'll interview you for a moment. Are you going to give the Panthers their first win?
No.
No.
I will not.
Okay, are you sure? Because I know you're in the running. You're trying to rebuild here.
I mean, I don't know. It just depends how my hatred for Phillip Rivers is down that stretch.
Hey, listen, KK promised his mom 1 win for him. All right, so he better get 1.
That's
See,
right.
I got 2 wins circled already. It's a lock, and that's both games against the Jags. So I don't know how many more wins I can put up and get a good draft pick.
Right. So, how? It's a good segue. How are you going to approach the games against the Jags?
I'm going to do what I always do against the Jags, whether it's in this league or if it's in the Hard Knocks League or another league that we have, and that's just coming away with the W.
All right, fair enough. I see you don't want to give up your game plan. Let them set up. Looks like the Jags did respond. He said it was a paladin from World of Warcraft for 16 years. So that's where his name comes from. So he's pumped, and Jags rolling. So
And Lions rolling.
And Lions rolling. That's right. How do you hope to make changes next season to your team, and what are your needs?
I got a good O-line. Looks like I got Jonathan Taylor, rookie running back, and Michael Pittman, rookie receiver. Hopefully they boost up a little bit. They're both up there, and rookies and Pittman is up there, I think, in receivers of the year. So hopefully those guys improve a little bit, and then I got to find a quarterback.
Right. quarterback of the future. Make a trade, make a draft. I mean, that's going to be tough. You're going to be in a tough spot. I mean, you're going to be at the top of the list. I mean, do you go QB early? Do you try to, get one late? Find somebody manageable?
I mean,
because Trevor Lawrence
gone,
is,
I think.
he's going to be gone.
He'll be gone. He'll be gone to the Panthers. To the Panthers.
To the Panthers
for sure. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how I haven't taken a look yet at the QBs, but
right.
I have Jacob Eason too, who has good throwing power. So I should have made him a superstar early. I don't know why I didn't, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can trade.
Manny with a clutch gif in the chat. I like it. So we can jump on over to let's see. I got the AFC East coming up next, and we got A-Bomb at the top, 6-2. My boy A-Bomb from my fantasy draft league. Much like you said, Penn, he's winning soundly. 3 games on the schedule will be tests, though. He's got the Browns and the Pats and the Jets. But the rest of them, I do believe, are currently under 500 teams. So, you really look at that. He's got 8 games in. He's going to take a loss this week, so he'll be 6-3. And then he's got, and I'm not sure if this Browns game, it's probably referencing this game this week. So maybe he'll have 2 more games that are possible losses. So he could really finish up, 10-5? Or,
I'll be interested to see his next game against the Pats. I think that'll be a really good game.
Yeah, Jabbar's going to cave. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm going with the prediction of Jabbar winning this division, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, my bad. I overlooked. Well, I guess. Yeah, we didn't overlook anything. That's the AFC South. We'll move on. So.
Hey, guys, Manny is running away with the division.
Whoa! Hot take alert! Hot take alert!
Running.
Running. I don't know.
Running.
I'm not sure. Like four carries says otherwise. So yeah, A-Bomb 6-2. Right under him, Pats 5-4. And they started 0-4, like to come out and really put his nose to the grindstone, get 5 wins in a row. The question is, are they for real? And the reality is he will be tested coming up. And so I think those early 4 losses are really going to hurt him. And it's going to be really frustrating because he's going to wind up, probably 8-8, maybe 9-7. So his test games are going to be against Jern with the Eagles, then of course Manny, and then freshly baked buns as the Bengals, and then he's got A-Bomb. But I do have written here that he has swept the Jets, and I'm not entirely sure if that's accurate or if maybe my notes are.
I mean, that's a rivalry game where you can't say like the Jets are bad or the Patriots are good from those games. Like it's just a rough game, who's gonna win type of thing.
So looks like I'm not entirely sure what I wrote there. Might have had a few too many beers, so without checking the schedule, we'll just let that one go. We got the Jets, which is Simba guy. He's 5-4, and he's beaten the Bills, which early no one knew it would be such an important matchup, but that's a very important matchup for him. And then he plays them again week 17. So, if you're A-Bomb, you're happy about being the division leader right now, but are you really comfortable being the leader?
Oh yeah, by the way, Dolphins, isn't that TBK now?
Johnny just wrote that. Yeah, that's a good thing to remember. TBK is solid.
He absolutely is. But I do know he's a smart owner too, and coming into a team where you're 2-6, like you probably aren't really coming out trying to run away with anything. So I could see TBK setting up for next year.
Yeah, I got to look at his schedule, but he can win. He can beat most people in this league. So he's got an interesting game against the Bills.
The Dolphins do.
The Dolphins are going to play the Bills, and then he's got to play Jern, and then the Bengals and Patriots. So I'll be curious how he does in the division for the rest of the year. Could see how he, prediction for the future for next season, how good he's going to do.
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt, because he can play. The guy can play. So it's just going to come down to what
he took over the Steelers and made it to the AFC Championship in Old Hard Knocks. So.
Yeah. So I mean, it just depends on what philosophy he's going to go with here. So that was pretty much my lead into the Dolphins was they got old coach resigning, and that team is a pretty talented team now, is it not? Or are they kind of middling?
I mean, they got a few key signings and then the rookies. I mean, they got the Cowboys corner. What's his name? Byron
Jones.
Byron Jones.
Yeah, and they
I
had
don't know I mean, this year they're the worst team in the game. I don't know with transactions what they are.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure what their rookies looked like coming in. I mean, obviously they got Tua. So, let's go ahead and jump on predictions. I'll jump on this one. So, if I were to predict, I'm definitely picking my boy A-Bomb. The guy knows how to play. Been in leagues with him for a long time. He's a grinder. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes. He can be. I mean, he's known to throw a bad pick or two, but I've seen him really hunker down and turn games around. I think he played a really tough game. I don't remember who it was early, but I watched most of it, and it didn't look like he was going to get the win, but he grinds it out. So the guy knows how to play, and he's winning soundly on most of his games. So I'm going to say the Bills going to take this one. Penn?
Well, I bought my ticket earlier today, and I jumped on the Jabbar hype train. That's what I jumped on. And I'm going Patriots. I think Patriots are going to take that division. I think they're doing great. They know how to use their team now. They're getting in the groove, basically, and they're going to carry it in the playoffs.
Nice. What about you, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Jabbar. I'm gonna believe him when he says he wasn't trying early. Maybe with the little asterisk, he did get beat by the Bills 25-17. Looks like they had 2 games played, so I don't know what happened there. But ever since he said he was gonna try, he's been putting up wins. So, and he's I've played him a couple times in the other Hard Knock leagues. He's pretty solid.
Yeah. All right. We'll jump on over to the AFC West, the sad sack that is the AFC West division.
Oof.
It's ugly over there, boys.
We can't just skip to the NFC North. Is that
really didn't we just pass a rule that said if you're a losing record team, you don't get to even, make the playoffs? Isn't that a thing?
Oh man. Having said the Broncos, I mean, like I said, look at that points for and points against. Like that's. He's doing good things, just not at the right moment, I guess. Huh?
I would love to. I guess he's running it up in games that he's winning and keeping games tight that he's losing. That's what that scoring differential would mean, would it not?
Yeah, no, that's definitely.
So, Broncos 4-5. That's Coach Willie Nelson probably hitting the doobies a little too hard. That's why he's 4-5. He had a solid win over the Packers. I watched the game. He looked dominant. So he can definitely play. He seems to lose small and win big, so that does account for the differential. That's kind of what I had written down here. So the question that I would have is he just too conservative in tough games? And that's something that I think a lot of people do struggle with. I know myself, I do that at times. So
oh yeah, not wanting to throw pick, you run the ball or just throw to the flats when the flats are covered and you just don't want to push it. On defense, you do these really safe coverages and let people just drive on you. Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, and and if you're playing really good defense and you're just not really moving the ball, like it does become one of those things. Like somebody's going to break a big play, and that's where you're going to wind up losing the game. So you can play a really solid game the whole game, but give up one series, and that's it. So you got to put up points.
Yeah.
And then looking at his schedule, I see he's got 2 losses with, he's got Bills and Texans that I think he lost to. But I ultimately think the division's a toss-up because obviously nobody's really that far and away. You would never think that with a 3-7 Chargers, but damn, Dar can run away with this thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give a little shout out to the Raiders because doesn't he have like 4 players since the beginning of the season that were out for injuries?
He did. He took a brutal rash of injuries. So we can jump to the Raiders now. He's 4-5. It's Coach Seasif, another Jabbar protege. He had a tough schedule. 4 teams with winning records so far. And he's got the division rivals who will be putting pressure on each one of his future games. So he's easily in the mix for the division, but it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, no, I mean, besides the Chiefs, it is a division where anybody can win in the end.
I mean, Chiefs are only 2 games back.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we don't really know who they're. I mean, I don't know if they've played their division rivals. I'm sure they
that
have.
Point differential is pretty brutal, though.
Yeah, he's given up a ton of points. So.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, that's because he has 3 losses in a row: 38-3, 40-3, 28-3.
Dang.
Yeah.
Just getting
Which I don't get. Like, you got Mahomes and Tyreek. Throw Tyreek the ball 20 times a game.
Dude,
you'll win half your games.
I think I watched him. Yeah, I commentated one of Frank B's games, the Chiefs owner, and he did. He hucked it up to Tyreek, and he just was throwing pick after pick after pick, and I was like, dude, maybe don't throw the ball to Tyreek every time.
Yeah, hey, pull the old was it? Name every person Tyreek Hill, and nobody will know who to cover.
Did he actually do that?
Yeah, he named. I don't know Tyreek, but it was T Hill, so you couldn't see who was Tyreek Hill on the field.
That's messed up.
Yep.
All right, then we got Coach Dar at 3-7. They're reeling right now because they dropped 5 straight games, and that's tough. I mean,
yeah,
that's
wow.
just
He had a 3-2, and then just tanked
and just got crushed. So no way around it. He has to sweep the Broncos and the Chiefs, and at least split with the Raiders. Like that's his only chance. But I mean, so you're saying there's a chance? Like it's not really that far out. I mean, that's not even the right quote to use. Like he's 1 game back, and he gets to play the Broncos. So he could sweep the Broncos, and even if they tied, he could win because he'd have the tiebreaker over him. So, Dar, you got a stacked team, son. Get something done.
Yeah.
Then we got Frank B of the Chiefs, 2-7. He needs a lot of luck, but is still only 2 games back, and really isn't under anyone's thumb in the division. So he must have 1 game against each one of his division rivals. So maybe if he splits all his games and wins out, not likely, he's got a shot. So I would say, Mikey, who's going to win this division? Rutrow. Pen?
I'm going to go Raiders. I'm going to go Raiders.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, you're going to go Raiders.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is that just is that a feeling, or you just don't think the Broncos have the staying power?
I just think Raiders lost key players early, took some losses. Maybe I just took a look at his injury report. He only has 1 guy out, Nelson Aguilar, so looks like he's healthy. I'm going to put my money on that one.
Okay. What about you, Penn?
I mean, if I were to put money on it, Broncos. I mean, they're losing to good teams. They have a positive point differential. They're good. If I could will somebody and put all my energy, it'd be Dar. But I think the Broncos.
You know what it is? It's all those photos that Dar posts in chat of all the weed that he smokes. Like, I bet you if he took a break...
Stay off the weed,
yeah,
man!
Exactly. Like, he might win more games.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe he needs to do more. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's just got to get on another, elemental level. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Broncos. I know Willie. I think he, like you said, I mean, he's playing tough games and winning big or losing small, and the point differential is a real thing. So I'm going to say Coach Willie's going to win this one. Then we'll jump over to the NFC North, my division, but currently it's not mine. That's what the segment was. So following this, we're going to go ahead and do contender or pretender. That was the segment that we skipped over. So we got the NFC North, which Johnny Sins, the Packers, 9-1. They're scoring 24-plus points a game at least. So
he's scoring 30 points a game.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't do the average, but his lowest scoring game was 24 points, and I bet you he's in that 27 to 30 points per game.
He's killing it.
Yeah, and so I would say if I had to guess, he's going to finish 13-3. He must have 2 tough games. I'm going to guess he's probably plays either the Texans or the Bucks or the Seahawks or somebody that I basically counted as a loss for him. and then plays each rival one more time. So, and perhaps I was assuming I can beat him because I feel like I can beat this guy. So I'm gonna have to back that up. But Johnny Sins, just know I am coming for you because I had you in a hole early, and I screwed the pooch. I gave up the business, and I'm not happy about it. So I'm holding that against you. So don't make a mistake because I'm gonna come steal it from you. So yeah. And then we got the Bears. That's me, 5-3. Two of my 3 losses are to teams with just one loss. So I lost to the Packers, and I lost to Jern, and then I lost to the Panthers, or not the Panthers. It was that would have been bad. I think was it the Vikings, and he started out 0-3, and so when I played him, I saw his record at 0-3, and I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about this. And so it was one of those games where I feel like I went into it thinking I'm not really that concerned. I'll do what I want to do. And then as the game carried on and got longer, I'm like, okay, this is a game that I could probably lose. And I was already at that point where it was like, oh, God, anything can happen here. And then suddenly it was, oh shit, I'm going to lose this game. I still have a chance, and he beat me. Like, he straight up beat me. He played great defense, and at the end of the game, I messaged him, like, dude, how are you 0-3? And he just responded back with, I ask myself that every day. Like, yeah. He didn't get it either.
He in the old league beat Jern, who had a really good team, and made it to the NFC Championship. He's a great user, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the thing that was really interesting, and I was like, what the heck? I mean, how's this guy 0-3? I don't understand. So he is currently 6-4. So as of this writing, he was 5-4. So he's clearly done something right. I mean, he's 6-4. He dropped 3 early. He's on a 4-game win streak, and he kicked that streak off, beating me. So I'm not thrilled about that. And he went, and then went on 5-1 over 6 games. So let's see. Yeah. That seems right. Yeah, 5-1 over his last 6 games. So he's in the same boat as me. Like he's gonna have to play all the division rivals again, and I would hope that I'm vying for a wild card. So we'll get back to that in a bit.
And he's got other than Slick, and in the division rivals, he has the Lions losing record, Broncos losing record, Chargers losing record. So he's got. I mean, this guy can play a little spoiler here to the Bears, maybe get a wild card spot.
Yeah, absolutely. We got N-Twin, the Lions. Oh, it's real briefly I'll bring up. I know you see it. That's the Vikings head coach. So we got N-Twin as the Lions, 1-6-1. I'm going to say the Lions have packed it in. The roster probably isn't that good. Penn, what do you think his needs would be?
Oh man, everywhere.
Everywhere? Is that Lions roster just terrible?
The Lions are hurting. They're hurting. Yeah, it's hard to. You don't have a mobile QB. You got Galladay at receiver, but that's about it. And then you don't really have a running back. And then on defense, I think you have decent DBs, but
they got
again,
the rookie
like
Jeff
you don't.
from.
Yeah, you don't have a pass rush. Like that's a hard team to use.
Yeah, so he needs help everywhere. So we'll go ahead and move on. And real quickly, we got UGW, the Cardinals, in chat saying, were you asking me why so many penalties? And so go ahead and respond to him and see what he has to say for himself. NFC South. Oh, what were you going to say, Penn?
Oh, no, I'm curious, honestly. Like, I don't know what he's doing with his O-line that keeps getting him false starts.
So NFC. Wait, actually, we skipped over that fact. I think it's probably pretty clear who's going to win the NFC North.
Yeah, no, it's clear. It's the dude who scored 309 points in 10 games. It's that guy.
It's that guy. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Unanimous.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend. I know he's gonna win this division, so I'm just hoping to steal one back from him. We'll go to the NFC South. We got the Bucks. Coach Penn, 9-0. The one thing I would say is I do believe your record is the result of the low-hanging fruit that you've been feasting on. So you have 2 good wins, One was dominant over the Seahawks, so I got to give you credit there. You slapped Slick around. Like you shut him out.
I mean, that game, I had JPP, who I think is pretty trash in this game. He was getting instant sheds and getting in the backfield of Slick. So, like I said, I think that game caused Slick to improve his game, whatever he was doing with his O-line. So.
Yeah. He was just using the club, man. What do you got to do? Can't stop the club.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a fair assessment. We turn it up when we play good teams and we get in the playoffs. That's that MO. You know?
Yeah, without a doubt. So you have that one good win, so congratulations. You beat a good player.
What about Danny with the Titans? Don't cut it short.
Okay, you did beat Danny. Okay, my bad, Danny. That's on me. I respect the hell out of Danny. Dude's putting on a clinic, so you do have to play Johnny. And you have to play Jern twice on your schedule. So
what? There's no way I'm playing Jern twice.
No. He doesn't play Jern.
Oh, not Jern. So you don't play Jern at all?
I played Manny once. I know that.
No, he plays Johnny twice.
Johnny's the Falcons.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay, yeah. I was thinking about in Hard Knocks the other one.
Yeah.
So you just got to play Johnny twice. So that'll be a fun game to watch.
Did you hear the fear in his voice, though, when he said he plays Jern twice?
Yeah, he was scared. He's like, wait,
Don't
what?
scare me like that, all right?
Users?
I just want to do it once in the playoffs. That's it.
So those will be good games. Then we got Johnny the Falcons 5-3. I think Johnny is likely to finish 11-5, and it looks like he did beat Slick. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think that was maybe been a force.
It might have been or a sim or something.
It was not. 19-15. It was not a force.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Damn, that's a good one.
Man. And then, but then he has to play you twice.
And he only lost to Manny by 7.
Yeah,
So-
no, I mean, I'm telling you, Johnny's one of the players where don't look at the first games or whatever because this is a new team, and it's an upward trend, and then he's going to just start winning game after game, and it's going to roll right into the playoffs.
So Johnny is saying he hasn't played any division games yet, and Slick is saying it was a sim.
He has literally 5 straight games in the division, but obviously he's got the Saints and Panthers back to back, so.
Whew. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cakewalk.
Yeah,
So-
so it looks like he might be going in with a 5-game win streak at home versus the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that could be a real problem, though. Go ahead, Penn.
Just like I said with Manny and the Texans, I'll be shocked if they don't make it, or if he doesn't make it to the Super Bowl. I will be shocked if Johnny doesn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'll be really shocked.
So at 1-7, we got the Grim Reaper. He's just in a tough division and in a race with the Panthers for the number 1 pick. So, he likely is. I would hope he would play spoiler at some point during the course of the season, but it just really comes down to whether he's going to be playing hard or not.
Yeah, I think he's a guy who next season will do work too.
Yeah.
Like, he gets high draft picks and then puts the team together, and I think he'll be. I'm not saying he'll go undefeated or anything, but I think he'll put in work and be in contention for the wild card.
Good deal. I'd like to see that. And rounding out the bottom of the barrel, we got the Panthers 0-9 SNSGOW. Dude's busy eating glue and soundproofing his bedroom so he doesn't.
Yeah, no. Is there a way we can remove him and then put him like an XFL team or what is that, the AFL or something?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's not his fault. I mean, he's got all that glue so he can soundproof his bedroom so he doesn't have to hear me stooping his mom. Like, it's he's got
That's
priorities.
fair, Oh man.
So it's pretty clear who's winning this division, so we'll just move along. And then we can jump over into the NFC East, which we got.
This is another. Yeah.
Oh, man, this division, wow. It's scary looking. We got
Yeah,
Jern.
Jern would have to have a stroke to not win this division.
Yeah. 8-1. Jern's got it on lockdown. Only blemish on his record is to the Pack, but obviously the Pack is sitting above him in your power rankings, so it's not really even a blemish at this point. And he is absolutely murdering people.
Yeah,
I mean,
not even
he's
close.
got 320 points for, 90 points against.
And that's in 9 games. Packers had 10 games with a 300.
Yeah, I mean, that's absurd. I mean, the dude's a straight killer.
I mean, he's got the blowout rule memorized at this point.
Yeah, he does. He's like, oh god, here I am again. So Jern's killing it. I think he's finishing 15-1 or 14-2. He must have a losable game on his schedule, and it is not in his division. Let's just say that.
Yeah. No, we got to give love to Jules. I mean, she's doing really good with the Cowboys. You know.
Yeah, I mean, she was playing solid. Jewel was 4-5 now, and she's winning the game she's supposed to. And if you're winning those games, that means you're doing it right. And the only problem is that when she plays a team that has a winning record, she just can't seem to get the W. So going true to form Cowboys, she's going to go 8-8.
Yeah, she's got some rough teams too. Pats, Bills, Eagles, Rams with Sib, I think. Like it's, and then the Bears, which I mean, I guess the Bears, but.
Oh Lord! And then we got Coach Ricky of the Giants, 3-7. Another one of my guys from my fantasy draft league. He played you tough. What was the score of that game, Penn?
Oh, it was real close. Yeah, no, and it came down to Brady fumbled, I recovered, and then Saquon fumbled, and then I recovered. So that's kind of what it came down to. I know he gets frustrated by Madden's randomness too, which I know Greg also got upset, and it would kind of cost Greg games because Greg would get so upset. So, but I think he's a solid user. I'm actually really surprised at the 3-7 record.
Yeah, me too. Because I've played with Ricky before, and he's usually a pretty solid guy. He did, much like Johnny, take the majority of this year off, so it could just be him kind of acclimating to the game in general. But he played you tough, but it's not about to get any easier for him either. So after the bye, he's got the Bears, the Packers, and the Eagles twice. And I realize the Bears it's a question mark, so maybe it's not the Bears, maybe it's just Packers, Eagles twice, but you know.
That could be a surprise win over the Eagles, though. That could be like a huge upset possibility, I guess.
Yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible.
That's a nice way of saying, yeah, you're wrong.
He's not beating the Eagles.
He's not beating the Eagles.
No chance.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I think he's, just like I said with the Saints with our division, I think he'll get a high draft pick and then be competitive next season.
Yeah, without a doubt. I expect Ricky to compete. He's a good player. So, moving on to Smokey the Hucks, we got the Redskins at 0-9. Yeah, Lions and the Panthers just competing for the number. And Lions as well are competing for the number 1 pick. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. He needs a lot of help on that team in general, but he's got a pass rush. So, if he can just get something kind of lined out for defense and move the ball, I think that's his biggest problem right now is just coming up with a competent offensive scheme. But I'd like to see him get a good pick, build a nice team, and really compete next year.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the underdogs you're rooting for sure.
So we'd roll out to the NFC West. Slick's been waiting for like an hour now to hear about his division.
Dude, Slick fell asleep, man. It's like, almost midnight Eastern time?
It's like, about time, guys. Jeez. At least we gave him the power rankings early so he could go to bed. Slick's 7-2, 7-0 to start, and then drop 2. So that's got to be sticking with him. He's currently 8-2 now, looking at the stats. And then week 12 he goes against the Eagles. So,
that'll be a really good game. That'll be really good.
And they were in opposing divisions, were they not, in the original Hard Knocks? Because Slick was the Titans.
No, yeah, Slick was the Titans and Jaren was the Falcons.
Yeah. So they didn't play each other much. So that could be a really interesting game.
The only thing I don't like about Slicks here is the amount of points he's been giving up for a top 5 team in the power rankings. I don't like that 174.
Yeah, it's quite a bit to give up.
Yeah,
So
I mean, he knows offense is a strong point, though, and he can definitely put up points for that team. If his O line is blocking and he feels comfortable, like he'll put up points like no other.
easy dub for Slick. That's what the Texans are saying. Then we go over to the Niners, 5-3. That's Coach Jay Stopper. Quietly,
Now he's 5-4, I guess.
now he's 5-4. Yeah. As of this writing, I was like, he's quietly putting together a season with the Niners, because when I wrote it, it was 5-3, and he had 3 good losses. He lost to the Bucks, the Bengals, and the Browns. So, I mean,
And then now the Seahawks too. So
and
all
now the
winning
Seahawks.
records.
Yeah, all winning records. But once again, he really hasn't been tested either in his wins. His wins are over sub 500 teams. And he's got a rough second half of his schedule. He's going to have to play the Seahawks twice, which was this one of his games. Is that what he just lost to?
Yeah, no, that was his last game. Was he lost to Slick?
Yeah, so he lost to Slick once. He's got to play him one more time. Then he's got the Pack and the Falcons. So he's got a tough second half. It'll be interesting to see how he kind of manages to finish the season. And then we got the penalty king, UGW, the Cardinals, 3-6.
Stop cheating, Yeah.
He's kept up. He did keep up with the Bucks in a 28-36 barn burner.
Oof. Yeah, no, I mean, he played me tough. Like, and that pass rush is legit. That offense, Kirk has abilities, and then of course you got Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how he's 3-6-1. I think he's got a good team and he knows what he's doing with the team. So he's kind of, he's kind of like the Vikings, where the Vikings would have a better record, and Cardinals too. Like, I think he's good.
Yeah, he only lost to Slick by 6 too.
That was going to be my second point. Is he lost a 21-27 game against the Hawks? So, he's losing to good players, and he's losing well. Like, when I play good players, I lose bad. Lose by 25 points and stuff. So
he was in my division in Hard Knocks. I've already said this before.
Mm-hmm.
But he would play me well every single game, and I would somehow find a way to win. So it's like he plays really good. It's like he plays to the level of his competition.
Right. I can see that.
He tied the Lions, who has 1 win. You know what I
Right.
mean? He got beat by
Which is
Coach.
weird, because didn't that happen in the regular season? The Cardinals and the Lions tied. That's kind of weird.
That is kind of weird. But yeah, you bring up the loss to the Ravens. It was a 2-point loss. So it's he could easily be in much better shape than 3-6.
I mean, how do you beat the Panthers by 6 and then lose to the Seahawks by 6? I mean, that is just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Panthers over there eating glue. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
So-
I mean, maybe I don't know if he does the same thing, but sometimes when I play a team with a losing record, maybe I'll put on like a TV show on the side, and I kind of start, maybe I don't know. So maybe that's what he does. I don't know.
Maybe.
The disrespect.
So UGW just not over the hump. So hopefully he gets a good draft pick this year, comes out swinging, and really makes a run at this division, because he's clearly capable of hanging with the big boys.
I think he's a solid player, so I'd be rooting for him.
Then we got Coach Sib came in late, taking over the Rams, and I really like to see he comes in late with a losing record and is still playing to win. He just won his last game, so he's not packing it in, and he's not trying to get a high draft pick. He's out there mixing it up. So I love to see that. Obviously colluding with his dad Danny over there in the AFC, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is. So
How are you going to trade Donald? How are you going to do it?
Right?
If this was in Sim League, I would drop 10 into coverage and rush Donald, and then get like 12 sacks a game. Right? That's Jesus.
So NFC West predictions. I'll go ahead and go out on a limb. Here's a hot take that Slick's gonna win it. What about you, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Slick, for sure.
Yeah. So Penn.
I got Slick.
Unanimous.
So
Okay.
there's a easily possibility Slick is appearing in the Super Bowl for the NFC. So yeah, I got Slick.
We'll go ahead and look at the wild card chase. That's something I think we should probably get going since we're at week 10. Right now we'll start in the NFC. So we got the Niners at a 5-4. Let's see, Falcons 5-3. the Vikings 6-4, so they're obviously in the lead for a wild card. Myself at 5-3, and that's it. So several 5-3s and a 6-4. Penn, who do you see the 2 wild cards coming? Like, who are they?
Johnny, for sure.
Johnny's one. Okay.
God, and the last one.
So you got the Niners at 5-4.
Yeah, no, I got the Vikings.
And the Vikings.
I love your kid game, but I got the Vikings.
Hey, I get it. This has not been my year. I've not been clutch. So, yeah, I get it. So, what about you, Mikey?
He actually stole my 2 picks, actually.
Oh,
Falcons
you guys,
Vikings.
you know what? You're not invited on the podcast anymore. I'm over it. I'm taking this. I'm getting a wild card. It's going to be myself and Johnny, and lock it in. It's a lock. Put your money down. That's what's happening.
Hey, I want to see it happen. All right.
I know you see it
prove me
is
wrong.
gonna. I know you see it is gonna see me punching my ticket while he's over there crying in his beer as I go to the playoffs and he's not. So, AFC West, we got the I don't see a wild card coming from the West. You got the Patriots and the Jets, both 5-win teams, and then you got the Titans and the Jags, and then you got the Browns, 5-win teams. The AFC is going to be really hard to gauge. So, Mikey, do you have a favorite wild card coming out?
I'm going to go with the Bills because I got the Pats winning the division.
Ooh, you're on the Jabbar hype train.
Yep. He's going to win the division. Bills will come. He'll make the wild
Okay.
card.
Who would be your second wild card?
I would go with Browns.
The Browns. Okay.
Yep.
What about you, Penn?
So I got the same thing with the Bills because I think the Pats take that. But I'm going Titans, and I want to put Jags, but I think the Titans will kind of get it over the Jags just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I'm gonna have to say, let's see, who Simba guys, the Jets. Let's see. I know Danny's gonna be one of the wild cards. He's definitely in. And man, I would love to pick Ilstein here, but like, it's got to be the Browns. Like, I mean, Coach Sy is. I think if there was a matchup between Sy and Ilstein right now, Sy wins the game. That's how I feel about it. So I'm gonna have to go with him. But it's gonna be real close between those two. I think those are the two that are gonna come out of this. So I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to this. So write these picks down, and we'll have to revisit it as we get closer to the end of the season. So that'll wrap up the divisions. I feel like we're probably going a little long, but we have at least 2 more segments to go. So
I mean, they can skip ahead.
That's true.
You can
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into the contender pretender segment that we were gonna do. That was supposed to happen early. That's my bad. So Mikey, why don't you kick off contender or pretender?
All right. Keep this short and sweet. My contender is going to be the Packers. All right. Don't know him very well, but he's got key victories against the Bears, and he beat the Eagles, which earlier on our early podcast, I did the hot take, and I said the Eagles would make the Super Bowl. So he's got a win against him, so that's very, very huge in my eyes. So I'm going with the Packers as the contender.
Nice. Who you got for? So we're going to do all contenders first, or you want to do your pretender next?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay. Let's see. My contender, I got the Bills. So Coach A-Bomb, he's 4th in points per game, or at least was at the writing of this. He was top 10 in his third down percentage. So that's a key indicator that he's doing, moving the ball well. He's 5th in points allowed, and then his turnover differential was 16. So he had 24 takeaways and, 8 giveaways. So he's controlling the ball really well, converting on third down and scoring plenty of points. And he's 7th overall in rushing yards allowed. So he's got a solid run D. Just seems to be doing everything well. So I think he's a real contender. to make a good push in the playoffs.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, you guys have some safe picks. All right, division leaders. All right. Call me a homer. All right. But I'm
The
going
Bucks?
with Johnny with the Falcons.
The
no,
Johnny.
I'm going with
No,
Johnny
I
with the
know.
Falcons. All right. Is he going to make the playoffs? I don't know. Yes, he is. All right. I know Johnny. I got insider knowledge.
Uh-huh.
All right. Johnny with the Falcons is a contender. He's going to be in the playoffs. He's going to be a tough out. He's not an easy win. He has a possibility of showing up in the Super Bowl and winning that Super Bowl. He's the closest game to the Texans this season. I'm telling you, he is my contender. I believe.
Wow. You know Johnny's bald head is getting bigger and bigger by the moment, right?
I believe.
And what do you mean we're going with safe picks? Like, we picked two guys that haven't even played in this league before, and you're
You
over here
got
like,
two
I'm
guys who
picking
are leading
Johnny.
their divisions right now. I got Johnny, who is scraping by at 5-3, but
My
I
guy.
believe him to finish the season high.
My guy beat my Super Bowl pick, so I had to put him there.
Yeah. All right, Penn. Who's your pretender?
Oh, my pretender. All right, this is tough love. All right, it's tough love.
Tough love.
I have KK with the Bears.
Oh,
You initially look, you're like 5-3. 5-3. That's a good record. That's a solid record.
it's winning
No.
record at least.
No wins against teams with winning records.
You know what? Stop
feel like-
slapping your clipboard. It's making me mad. Like, I don't like it. I'm over it.
Getting hyped.
Yeah, I see
All right.
that.
I will be shocked if the Bears make the playoffs. Trubinsky is not the real deal.
Oh, Lord.
Good luck
Oh.
next year. Hopefully you get a good draft pick. Sayonara.
Yikes. That's brutal. At least I got some motivation. I feel like Jabbar over here just getting railed on. or maybe the Panthers' mom. That's probably a more apt comparison.
Yes, we can all agree on that. That's
Yeah.
a universal truth.
Mikey, who's your pretender?
Oh boy, I hate to do this to him. I just hate to do it. But I'm going with the Jags rolling
Whew.
down the hill here.
Oh,
as the
Lord.
big pretender.
Lordy.
I'm giving him
Fireworks right now.
I'm giving him a lot of love. He put up 5 wins in a row. Gardner Minshew as a rookie doing awesome things, but we have it on his schedule right now, right down the stretch. Automatic losses. He's got the Colts up next. That's an L. Titans up next. That's an L. Buccaneers up next. That's an L. Okay? And then he has Johnny, and then he has the Colts again, the last 2 games of the schedule. So I hate to do it to him, but you know, his only real good win, which is actually a very solid win, is against the Bengals. I don't know how he pulled that off, but I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I have yet to see make the playoffs, as my pretender.
Wow.
Those are fighting words.
Those are.
Fighting.
Like,
Fighting.
he's heated right now. See if he has a response in chat. See what he does. It's funny that you referenced the Bengals because he is my pretender. Coach Freshly Baked Buns. He is, let's see, 12th in total yards. I'm not sure what that stat was. I guess he's outside the top 10 in total yards, so just not doing that well moving the ball. And then he's 19th in first downs. And then here's a stat that shook me to my core. I was stunned by it. I'm supremely disappointed in Baked Buns. He is 31st in third down percentage with 27%.
Ouch.
Damn.
So the
He's
dude,
just hucking it. Huh?
yeah, I mean he's leading the division. I think wasn't he 5-3? No, 6-3. He's
6-3,
leading
yeah.
the division with a 27% third down conversion rate. And you want to know who's worse? The Panthers. The Panthers is worse. So
That's not the company you want to be in. That
no,
is not
like that is terrible. Like he is the pretendingest mother effer I've ever seen. At 6-3, he's just lucky he's in the soft ass division with the Ravens over there. Like I thought it was just too cheap to put the Ravens in as my pretender. Coach is, my hot take. I wasn't gonna throw him under the bus a second time, so there we go. That's our contender pretender segment. And then I do believe we had one more thing, Coach Mikey. You got players to watch or rookies to watch, right?
Yeah, rookie recap. I'll stick with 4 guys only. That's worth a mention. It's very easy. You could easily go to, rookie of the year, part in the game. But I figured I'd give a shout out to a couple guys who caught my attention. Quarterback. I'm going to stick with one. I'm going to give a shout out to quarterback, a running back, a receiver, and a defensive player. At quarterback, the Jags. Impressive with Gardner Minshew to have 1,700 yards, 16 TDs, and 16 interceptions. As a rookie, he's not highly rated. I mean, that's pretty solid for him.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And then, I could have went with Jarrett Stidham, but, I heard Stidham wasn't trying very well the first 4 weeks, so that's not worth a mention.
Ooh. Take that.
Running back hasn't changed all year long. That's going to be Miles Sanders with Jern. He's balling, 17 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's doing work. Makes sense to me.
And top receiver, we're going with big DK Metcalf. A.J. Brown's doing pretty solid as well, but DK's got 10 TDs, about 900 yards or so.
Yeah, and doing it with only 46 receptions. So he's a deep threat for sure because Crowder's got 1,500 yards. I realize he's not a rookie, but he's doing it on 78 catches for a reference. So, I mean, 46, that's not a lot.
No. And then for defensive player or defensive rookie for me, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. I don't know who that user is. I don't know what he's doing.
Weird.
But he's got Devin White with 37 tackles, 6 interceptions. They got a 9-0 record. He's the leader there in that defensive side as a rookie, and he's got 2 touchdowns.
Devin White, your user player there, Penn?
Sometimes. I've been mixing it up, but I mean, I don't need to use him. He's all over the field. 92 speed at linebackers
is absurd.
And regs is crazy.
There he is. Yeah. Yeah, doing work. That list is about what I thought it would be. And let's see, Texans saying keep your eyes on that Texans rookie halfback. He's on the rise.
Who?
I don't know. Like, he says he's important. Probably that McAndrews guy or whatever.
Oh, I think it's McFarland.
McFarland, that's what it is, yeah. That's what he's saying.
Is he trading him to a different team who's going to use him or what?
I did hear he was frustrated after his 4-carry game, but,
It's going to be like 3 years down the line. And still going to give him credit.
It will be.
Does he even have running plays on his playbook?
Oh, wait, he ran with Deshaun Watson. They weren't designed runs, but they were runs.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hey, haters. You guys are haters.
That's absolutely. All right, well, I would say I think we probably went on long, but unless somebody else has something to add, I think we could probably wrap it up.
No, I'm good.
That's it. I mean, league's popping. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Everybody's getting their games in. I mean, we've been advancing on a 48-hour pace pretty regularly. We advanced early on, what was it, Sunday? I think we advanced, so we're going to be advancing tonight, but it'll be late. But yeah, we're getting all our games in, and yeah, like you said, we're popping a lot of broadcasts and hoping to see a few more commentaries, Mikey.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all set.
Right on. Penn, you and I are going to have to get on a commentary one of these nights.
Yeah, no, I need to. Need to find time for sure.
Yeah. You guys need to commentate my next game against the Jags for sure.
Yeah, I know. It would be great. I'm trying to spread it out, try to get it to some guys that, aren't necessarily as well known, because I've commentated one of yours already. I did Jabbar's, I think. Did a few. I've done the Redskins and somebody else. So, truly trying to get it out there for everybody.
Maybe incorporate some post-game interviews, too.
I did, actually. I interviewed Coach Willie Nelson after his game, which was pretty cool. I interviewed Jabbar. So, really trying to get that going. So, guys, pop on in. It's a lot of fun. And, guys appreciate it when you do commentate their game. And hopefully that'll get them inspired to do it for somebody else. So, thanks for joining us tonight. And I think we're outie.
Yep.
Take it easy.